story of the Nephilim is a warning. Curiosity without obedience leads to chaos.
Night fell over the land, and a strange heaviness settled in the air as unseen forces moved in the shadows. Humans peered nervously from behind rocks and broken trees, their eyes wide with fear, hearts pounding, as if the very air carried whispers of danger. Red eyes glowed faintly from the darkness, hinting at the presence of unseen giants lurking in the shadows, watching, waiting. The forest twisted unnaturally, fog curling around gnarled tree roots, creating shapes that seemed alive and threatening. Villagers huddled together, shivering, clutching each other as every sound, the rustling leaves, distant footsteps, whispers of wind, made them jump. A distant, low growl echoed through the valley, shaking the ground slightly, and the humans froze, paralyzed with terror. Shadows moved across the abandoned village, flickering between huts and ruins, each step of the unseen giants causing debris to shake. The riverbanks rose with turbulent waters, humans struggling to cross while massive silhouettes of Nephilim loomed over them. The fog-covered cliffs revealed faint, glowing eyes as the giants crept silently, making the humans' panic grow with every heartbeat. Every path seemed unsafe. The forest, cliffs, river, and abandoned streets were all filled with unseen menace. Humans ran, stumbled, and hid, their exaggerated terror reflecting the overwhelming power of the Nephilim around them. Trees bent unnaturally as if recoiling from the giants, shadows stretching long and dark across the trembling ground. Even when hiding, the humans could feel the giants' presence, massive and unstoppable, stalking silently from the darkness. Thunderclouds roiled overhead, occasional lightning revealing glimpses of the terrifying Nephilim shapes before plunging the land back into darkness. The humans' whispers were barely audible over the ominous sounds of wind, growls, and the distant, echoing steps of the giants. The mist twisted around the humans' feet like living fingers, heightening their sense of dread and vulnerability. Across cliffs and hills, red eyes flickered in the shadows, scanning for movement, striking fear into all who dared move. Rivers crashed and swirled, the water reflecting the occasional flash of lightning and the enormous shadows of the giants above. The ground itself seemed to tremble under the Nephilim's footsteps, making the humans' fear almost tangible. Every moment was heavy with suspense. Humans could do nothing but freeze, pray, and hope not to be seen. Abandoned ruins creaked and shifted as the giants passed, their enormous silhouettes illuminated briefly in flashes of lightning. Fog, shadows, and mist combined into a surreal, suffocating atmosphere, pressing against the humans like an invisible hand. Even the bravest humans were paralyzed with terror, their exaggerated expressions reflecting hopelessness and panic. The night stretched endlessly, punctuated by distant roars, footsteps, and the occasional crack of a broken tree. The giants' eyes glowed brighter in the mist, their presence both terrifying and inescapable. Humans ran blindly through twisted paths, slipping in mud and fog, every sound making them jump and fear discovery. Shadows of Nephilim shifted unnaturally, sometimes disappearing and reappearing, heightening the supernatural horror. Cracks in the earth, splintered trees, and broken huts bore testimony to the giants' immense power. Every step of the humans was watched, every breath measured, as if the night itself conspired against them. The air was thick with dread, every gust of wind carrying whispers of the unseen menace. Even the moonlight seemed distorted, casting long, eerie shadows that made the humans panic worse. From cliff edges, rivers, and forests, the glowing eyes of Nephilim followed the humans relentlessly. Human cries echoed in the distance, swallowed by the darkness and the mist, creating a chilling sense of isolation. Every hiding spot felt temporary. The giant's presence made the humans' efforts seem futile. Fog rolled over hills and rivers, shaping into forms that appeared alive, playing tricks on terrified eyes. The humans' exaggerated panic was almost cartoonish, yet matched the surreal, nightmarish scale of the giants around them. The red-eyed giants moved silently but powerfully, each movement shaking the environment and escalating fear. Finally, as the night reached its peak, humans huddled together, exhausted, terrified, waiting for the dawn, praying to survive another night under the Nephilim's relentless watch. The story of the Nephilim begins in a world untouched by time, where angels watched silently from the heavens, and humans lived unaware of the giants that were about to change everything.
When the earth was still young and untouched by the weight.
In the quiet beginning of the ancient world, when the earth was still young and untouched by the weight of ages, a soft glow shimmered across the heavens. The skies trembled with a warmth that humans could not see, for high above them, angels watched in silence. They observed the rise and fall of mortal lives, the struggles, the hopes, the laughter, the tears. And though heaven was their home, something about the world below stirred a deep longing within them. Day after day, the angels watched the humans from their radiant heights. They saw men fight to protect their families, and mothers pray for their children through the cold nights. They saw farmers tending their fields with blistered hands, and young dreamers gazing at the stars. And slowly, curiosity grew. Curiosity so strong it pulled at the hearts of those who had never known desire. One evening, when the sun dipped behind the mountains and drenched the world in gold, the angels descended. Their arrival was silent, like dew settling on the grass, and yet the earth felt the weight of their presence. Their forms glowed faintly, their footsteps leaving echoes of light behind them. At first, humans did not understand who these beings were. They stared with wide eyes, feeling awe and fear rise together like twin flames inside their chests. The angels walked among the people with gentle steps. They helped the elderly lift their burdens. They comforted the lonely, and they revealed knowledge humanity had never imagined. Villages whispered about them. Some called them blessings sent from above, while others suspected warnings hidden in shining skin. But the angels did not leave. They stayed, longer than anyone expected, fascinated by the world they once only watched from afar. As time passed, boundaries that once kept heaven and earth apart grew thin. The angels became familiar figures in the villages. They sat beside humans by the fire, listened to their stories, and learned the rhythm of mortal life. And from this closeness, emotions began to bloom, emotions the angels had never tasted before. Love, longing, admiration, desire, feelings that tied them to the earth more than the skies ever could. Some angels formed bonds with women, strong bonds, deep and impossible to sever. They married them, lived among them, and built homes in the valleys and hills. And from these forbidden unions came children of extraordinary nature. These children grew taller than their fathers had ever imagined, stronger than the bravest warriors, and more beautiful than any mortal had ever witnessed. Villagers were the first to notice the strange growth. Infants that should have taken years to stand were walking within weeks. Children who should have played with wooden toys were lifting stones twice their size. Whispered rumors stirred through the land, rumors of giants being born from the union of angels and humans. They called them Nephilim, children of heaven and earth. As the Nephilim grew, their strength became impossible to ignore. They wandered through forests with strides that shook the ground. They could uproot trees, lift massive boulders, and outrun the swiftest animals. Awe slowly shifted into fear. For though these giants were majestic, they possessed tempers as towering as their bodies. Their emotions burned hot, and when anger rose, the world around them trembled. There were moments when the Nephilim used their strength to protect the weak, standing between danger and those who could not defend themselves. But more often, their power became a burden to the land. Rivers shifted course beneath their steps. Wildlife scattered in terror as they roamed. Villages felt the quaking earth before they ever saw the giants' shadows. Humans tried to coexist with them, hoping their hearts would remain gentle. But as the Nephilim matured, Pride filled them like a consuming fire. They saw themselves as rulers over mortals, destined for greatness beyond the understanding of ordinary people. Some demanded offerings from the villages. Others tested their strength on mountains, trees, and animals, leaving destruction in their wake. Humanity found itself caught between wonder and dread. Yet even in the growing chaos, a few humans tried to reason with the giants. They spoke of peace, humility, and honor. But the Nephilim, shaped by both heaven and earth, wrestled with conflicting instincts. Their heavenly lineage granted them visions of incredible possibilities, while their mortal side wrestled with impulses they could not control. And so the struggle for balance tore at them, fanning flames of conflict across the land. Through the seasons, the giants multiplied. Whole regions felt their presence as they roamed freely. Hunters abandoned forests they once claimed. Families fled to distant mountains. The cries of children echoed through barren fields where villages once thrived. The air grew heavy with fear. The world, once peaceful and full of promise, began to feel smaller under the shadow of these mighty beings. The angels who remained in heaven watched with sorrow as their choices rippled through the earth. They saw humans crying out for help, and they saw their children, the Nephilim, reshaping creation with reckless power. Many angels wept, others bowed their heads in regret, for the harmony that once connected heaven and earth was unraveling too quickly to repair. God looked upon the world and saw the sorrow spreading through every corner. Violence had become common, fear had become a companion, and the beauty of creation had been overshadowed by the chaos of the giants. His heart grieved for humanity, for the land, and even for the angels who had lost their way. Yet among the darkness, there were still faithful people who clung to righteousness. Their prayers rose like faint incense into the heavens, honest and trembling, filled with hope that God had not forgotten them. God listened. He saw the suffering, the confusion, the imbalance that threatened all life, and in his divine wisdom, he made a decision that would change the world forever. A great cleansing would come, a cleansing so powerful that not even the giants could stand against it. God spoke to a righteous man, instructing him to prepare for what was coming. The man obeyed without question, gathering wood, tools, and faith thicker than the strongest tree trunk. For the world was about to face a judgment it could not escape. The sky began to shift. Clouds gathered heavier than mountains, trembling with God's authority. Children pointed at the heavens as the first drops of rain fell, slow, heavy, and cold. People murmured in confusion, unaware that these droplets marked the beginning of the end. Rain strengthened into torrents. Rivers overflowed. Winds howled through the valleys. The Nephilim, tall as they were, watched the rising waters with unease. They had never feared anything before, but the floodwaters climbed relentlessly, swallowing trees and homes, and even their mighty strides could not outrun it. Humans ran in every direction, searching for higher ground, for shelter, for hope. But the rain did not stop. Thunder cracked across the sky like the voice of judgment. The giants roared in defiance, their cries echoing through the storm. But even their strength was nothing before the tide sent by God. Days passed, nights faded into more nights. The world drowned beneath the weight of the cleansing waters. And in the midst of the destruction, a small group of faithful souls remained safe, preserved by their obedience and trust in God's command. At last, after many days, the rain ceased. The wind softened. The waters began to withdraw, leaving behind a world washed clean, a world ready for a new beginning. The survivors stepped out cautiously, their feet touching renewed earth that glistened with promise. Mountains sparkled in the morning light. Trees swayed with gentle breezes. Birds sang again after long silence. The air carried freshness, as though creation itself had taken a deep breath of relief. Humanity, once trembling under the shadow of giants, now walked humbly under the sun's warm touch. Angels watched from above, their hearts carrying both sorrow and hope. They knew the cost of disobedience. They knew the beauty of redemption. And they knew that humanity had been given another chance, an opportunity to rebuild, to grow, and to honor the world entrusted to them. The story of the Nephilim lived on not as a tale of wonder, but as a reminder that choices echo across generations, and that even the strongest beings fall when they drift from the path of wisdom. Yet through every rise and fall, God's mercy stands like a gentle light guiding those who seek Him. And so humanity began anew, humbled, grateful, and determined to walk in the balance between heaven's guidance and earth's fragile beauty.